Now this is interesting. Triple H doesn't see color. The coach joins Stevie Ray and Vince Russo. Oh boy, now this is gonna be something here, because Stevie Ray don't hold his lip. I don't know what Vince is gonna say, and I don't know what coach is gonna say. This should be something.
So I've always said this: if Vince would have wanted me to be the world heavyweight champion, damn it, I could have been the world heavyweight champion. So to say I only put guys in there.
How about that?
Russo'sBrand.com, where the pros are the pros. Triple H. I don't see the difference in anybody. I don't see the color. I don't see the nationality. I don't see any of it. I just see talent. I don't see the difference between men and women. I see talent. Coach, what do you think about that first?
Let me start with, I do not think that Triple H is a racist. I do not think that. What I think is that over the course of my career, and certainly recently with working with you, is that you have taught us that in the world of wrestling, which is the content that we're talking about here, that you've got to write for realistic and what's happening in the world. And in the world today, there are, especially if you're talking about from a company perspective, that there are a lot of diversified fans. There's a lot of young black kids out there, white kids out there, Mexican, all over the world. They travel all over the world all the time to perform in front of these different audiences. Some of the best places I ever went was Japan, South Korea, all this kind of stuff. So for Triple H, when he's asked to say, I don't see the color of a human being that's standing in front of me that I'm writing a wrestling show for, not only is it short-sighted, I think when people hear him say that and they see him say that, they go, wait a second, how is he running a company that in 3 short months will have a platform that is worldwide, that will be airing in every country but about 10% of the world on Netflix? And you say, I just see talent. And if you're one of these minority talents, and you could argue whether or not they have the talent to be up here, but you've got to put them in a place, because let's remember, this is not football. This is not real. This is entertainment. It's a story. You're putting something together for people to believe, and then it's a physical story being told in the ring. So I've always said this: if Vince would have wanted me to be the world heavyweight champion, damn it, I could have been the world heavyweight champion. So to say I only put guys in there. That's true.
Oh, man, I'm just saying. He's a former tag team. He's a former tag team world champion. How dare you? I'm gonna guess you insult the coach.
I'm sorry. I retract my last statement. Okay.
If he was talking about a quarterback and he says, "I don't see color. I'm having the best quarterback play." Okay. But I don't even like the words coming out of the mouth, but we're talking about an entertainment company. Yeah. And when you've got to have certain, and I don't even say like checking the boxes, I hate that term also, but you've got to put people in a position to be seen in a positive light as a boss, as somebody who is next level superhero type stuff. So some 8-year-old little kid growing up in Houston, Texas that you're talking about, Stevie, right at the top of the show, they can look at that guy and say, damn it, I want to be like Kobe. Damn it, I want to be like Booker T. Damn it, I want to be like Stevie Ray. Instead of hearing the white guy who's running the company go, hey, little Johnny, I don't see color. Don't see it. Don't see it.
Great point.
It's
Great
so
point.
short-sighted. Stevie Ray, I'll give you the.
Yeah.
Coach, a friend of mine, Avi Klein, he did my podcast a couple of nights ago, Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray, as you can see behind me. And unlike this show, I don't really dive into the real tough stuff. I keep everything kind of light. They monetize me on on YouTube and all that stuff anyway because of some of the things that I talk about. So I try not to dive too deep and keep things kind of light. But on a situation like this, Vince, let me ask you this. What was the question asked and in what context?
So I did hear the question. I can jump in real quick.
Go ahead, please do, Coach.
Basically, the kid, and it wasn't a journalist, Stevie Ray. They let the these wrestling marks get into
Right.
scrubs. He said there's been a lot of stories lately about minority talent basically being held back. MVP, Bobby, Shelton, they all just got released, and there is
Oh,
no
that's what this is
major
starting now.
minority
Okay.
champion right now.
Right,
Is there
right.
a problem?
Okay, this is what this is about. Okay, yeah. The Triple H about the Triple H race thing. I have no idea, but you hate hearing someone they ain't got nothing for you, or make it seem like okay these guys are too old, or so you know, and they're not that old. You know, it's just so we're gonna give you the boot, or it's not necessarily give them the boot, but I think Bobby Lashley said this is enough. I'm out of here. When I remember they first brought him back, they had him doing some stupid story. Then they eventually, you know, Bobby Lashley was Bobby Lashley, but at first they had him doing something stupid. But they still could have used those guys. And I know it's different people, but Flair and Hogan and all these other guys can be around that long. What's wrong with Lashley and Benjamin, MVP? They're like, what are they, 46, 47? That's like the man's 60-something years old. You know, and they ain't got nothing for them, or they're too old. That's bull.
Essentially, is there a problem right now
Okay,
with
okay. That's
Nothing
what
wrong
I
with
thought.
a mix
I
of
just wanted
old
to
and
be
new.
100% clear.
Nothing wrong
That's
with
what I thought. But
old
I
and
didn't know
new.
if that was coming from a journalist or coming from whoever, you know what I'm saying? But I know that was said, I just didn't know who said it. Okay, on my show, that's been asked me because I do my show live, Coach.
Okay.
And I can see the questions, and I have a phone call in right here. I've gotten that question so many times. Why doesn't WWE treat black talent different than white talent? And Vince and I think we kind of chronicled this a little bit, but maybe in a different context, Vince. I can't remember. You know, I know we've talked about it before. What I say is this, and what I try to tell people is this, coming from a professional wrestling perspective. Professional wrestling right now is more pop culture than subculture. When professional wrestling was subculture, you could go around the territories in different parts of the United States of America and see an ethnic guy like a Bruno Sammartino representing all the little Italians in the New York, Jersey, whatever, Philly area, so on and so forth. Like little Vince, he came up watching Bruno Sammartino. Or you could go down to the South and see somebody like the Junkyard Dog be the man. Or you could go to other areas and see Puerto Ricans. Or you could go to, you know, the African American place was pushed in so many different areas because the bottom line was about money. Well, right now, WWE, if you look at the history of WWE, other than you working there, Coach, I don't know how familiar you are with the history. And what I tell people is this on my show. They have never, ever pushed an African American athlete like they pushed other athletes, whether they be minorities or not. They've always let them get to a certain point, but never let them go over. Now, Vince and I was having a conversation one day when we had a friend of ours on the show who had written a book about black wrestling champions. And Vince told my man that Stevie Ray doesn't believe that The Rock should be in your book because he doesn't believe he was a great, and I said, no, I don't believe he was an African-American champion at all because he never represented the black side of him. He always represented the Polynesian side of him.
Always, always.
Now, I'm not trying to be, The Rock's is a friend of mine. I'm not talking about him personally. I'm talking about how he was pushed. And he has nothing to do with how he was pushed. It's the powers that be that push him, right or wrong.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
So I was telling the fans, if you look at it was actually about the hurt business. Why isn't the hurt business pushed like the bloodline? I say it's self-evident right there. It's not a history of that. Or the nation of domination. It's not a history of that. They've always pushed the Polynesians to the top, or the Hispanics to the top, and all the white guys to the top. The black guy has always been fourth or fifth on the totem pole. Now, even if they push a guy and give him a world title, just like they did my brother, it wasn't a WWE title.
No, it was a world
He had
title.
to come out and talk like he was an Englishman. What was wrong with pushing him like the badass Booker T he was when Vince Russo was writing for him? What's wrong with that guy? See, that guy is not good enough for this. He's good enough for that. Now, people don't pick up on these little nuances, of which they are.
You see, Stevie Ray never went up there.
And African Americans pick up on it.
He never went up there.
That's why someone was asking Triple H that. But when someone of Caucasian ilk, and this is not a put down on anybody, if the first thing that comes out of their mouth is "I don't see color," then they need to go read Dr. Jane Elliott's book as to what she talks about when you use that slogan. We all see color. We all see race. We all see religion. We all see creed. But when you say that, it's a defense mechanism. Now, by saying that, that doesn't mean Triple H is a racist. That don't mean he's anything. What I stand on my show, and me and I was talking the other day, that's a sign of ignorance because the question caught you off guard.
It did.
And you didn't know how to deal with it. That's where the PR people will get with him and say this, that, and the other the next time. Because see, if a Ray Dog was had his back, I would have told him what to say. That's what I do. Vince, I'd have told you what to say in public and try to help you out so you don't get your head smashed in. I told you that. I'm your boy, man. That's what I do. And I would have did the same thing with Triple H. It's the way people, when it comes to racial questions, and me and Vince.
Oh, shoot, that was getting good now.
And me and Vince have talked about this. So many people lose their cool when that question does arise because you don't know how to talk. You're not educated on race and race relations, other than the race relations you got in the wrestling business.
That's such a great take. It really, really is. And I think where Triple H, because he is the author of NXT, and when you talk about NXT, I think he sees it and says, wait a second, at NXT they got a bunch of guys that are stars down there,
Right.
Nick, right? So I think he's like, well, I've done that, but Vince wouldn't allow me to. But now that he's here, I think he feels like he's in this really CEO style role. Because let's be honest, he's more important visually than the person who's actually the CEO of the company behind closed doors. And I think that right now, until it changes, and it's not going to change overnight because it's like there are 40, 50 years of this, maybe longer.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Why should it? Because our demographic is not the 12.8%.
Why should it, from being the right thing to do to help with?
Right.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's about money.
Well, of course it is.
Just like I brought up the independents or the territories. When you seen an ethnic guy getting a push, it was about money.
100%.
Because a lot of those people come to watch.
That's what that answer was about. That's why he answered it that way. Because the first thought that comes out of his head right now is, how do I protect the company? And from the company, you can't. If he would come out and said, "Yeah, we got to do better," and I've been in a couple of networks that I've gotten. I work in the world of golf, and I was at a network where I openly said every year I'd have a meeting, guys, how can we have Tiger Woods as the number one guy for 57 years, and yet you still have an all-white announcement? And he said, "Coach, you're the next guy." And I said, "You have to say it, but it never changes." And I think for Triple H, what should be said, at least every single time right now, until you start getting guys in these positions so we can say, yep, there's a guy who's a champion, there's a guy that's in a feud, there's a guy who's visual, said, yep, we need to be better. And start the conversation there. There needs to be more shows and more conversations like this. We have to be better. Because you could go right down the list. You named a few, but you could go Mark Henry, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, all these guys that were never put in a position. And also, when you go to certain towns, I know they tried with the band last week, but see here, what if they would have done this? My sister went to Clark Atlanta. And Vince, there are a lot of HBCUs, historically black colleges, not only in Atlanta, but around the South. I would have loved to have 3 or 4 colleges come out, Morehouse, Clark Atlanta, any of those, and do a step routine.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
They brought back some of the legends at the show, at the pay-per-view in Atlanta.
All the pictures. Yep.
I saw no black ones.
Nope. Tully, Arn, DDP.
Didn't Thunderbolt Patterson just go in the Hall of Fame?
And you know what
He stays in Atlanta.
Why is he not there?
I'm asking you.
And they all
I'm asking Vince.
Coach, there's always, see, I know Stevie for years and years and years. There's always underlining, you got to know Stevie to know the underlining undertones.
Yeah.
You know what he's hot about,
What?
Coach? I mean, he's not hot about Thunderbolt.
Don't lie. Don't lie, dog. I know where you're going.
Bro, you know who Stevie Ray's boy is? You know who his boy is? Not his brother. No, but you know who his boy is? Ahmed Johnson. And Stevie always felt that Ahmed should have been the WWF World Champion. That's where all this comes from.
He was getting there too. He was close.
Because first of all, you'd have to subtitle every one of his promos for crying out
Said
loud.
if he didn't get hurt.
See, it's coming out.
Some of Ahmed said himself he got hurt a lot, and then that kidney kick with Farouk and all that stuff that happened, that didn't help nothing. Oh boy, ooh boy. And they said that wasn't no bullshit. This man got kicked in his kidney, and he was out for a minute. I'll never forget that. That was and I still remember it was before the Nation started because Ron Simmons had that helmet thing on. I remember all that. It was before that.
Now,
that's not a black man. That's an Ahmed thing, bro.
I'm gonna tell you,
That's not a black
he did that on purpose. He would tell Ahmed to go out there and get emotional and do that on purpose, so you wouldn't understand him. So everybody could be in the back laughing. He did that on purpose, man. Instead of just saying, "Look, Ahmed, this is what he could have did." I'm no writer, okay? I'm just telling. He could have said, "Look, Ahmed, when you get excited, man, we don't really understand some of the words that you say."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Good luck with that, bro. Yeah.
See, he tried to take it out now. This is what I want you to do. You take him in the back and you give him some kind of speech coach and say, "We're gonna slow it down." You had enough money up there. Don't try to act like you didn't. You had enough money. And then Ahmed could have really came out there and articulated himself in a totally different manner and changed his whole demeanor. But you don't want to do that because you and your buddies want to sit back and get your laugh on every week. That's what you did. I know you.
Can I ask you guys a question? Can I ask you a question? Take this maybe a step deeper. And any company now, they will tell you, if you go to any company, they will tell you one of the most important things, period, is diversity for that company. That's what they say. Whatever the reason being, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, because it's law.
Of course. That's why I said whatever the reason is. But it has to be. Like, it just has to be. So, because every kid coming up through high school and college has got to know that he's got an opportunity anywhere that he goes. There cannot be any more doors shut for anybody in the United States or around the world. If you ask Triple H on Saturday at Bad Blood, I wonder how he would have answered this question. Hey, Triple H, are there any black men or women on your executive staff, on your right hand? If you look at the guys that work directly with him, Shawn Michaels, Matt Bloom, Hurricane's my boy, but he's also white. It's like and you see gorilla positions, all white. So they're not even putting people around Triple H to tell him, hey, we need to think about this. When you're writing, what'd you tell me the other day, Vince? I don't know how to write for a black man in his language. Black men speak differently. One of the things that I've been accused of ad nauseum is, Coach, you don't talk like a black man. No, I talk like I'm educated. And there's two different things. And I'm proud of the way.
Oh yeah, that's fucked up, nigga. Why do you sound like a white guy? That is messed up.
Different businesses at a very high level that I've been on. But if you don't have people sitting next
that's
to you
messed up.
to say, hey, Hunter, maybe we should think about this. Of course he's going to sit there and say, I don't see color. He's got no color around him.
Okay. That was something. But yeah, you said earlier about the wrestlers getting treated differently. Yeah. Now Kofi won the belt, and MVP and not Shelton. I think it was not JTG. His partner. They saw it and they was literally crying. Not acting. They was crying for real. They was happy for the man. Then I think, what was it? 4 months later, and you know, Lesnar's one of my favorites. But this man, Kofi ran out there. This man picked him up, threw him on the ground, and that was it. I was like, here we go. And the fans felt bad. They did. I know. There's certain stuff that bothers you. Like the Mysterio thing and Cena that time. I kind of knew, and I keep bringing it up because it's frustrating. I knew Mysterio may not have had the belt that long, but I think it was his third title. Next thing you know, Cena gets his title shot. Cena gets pinned. Mysterio gets pinned, and that's it. Which Cena didn't need the belt right then. But anyway. Then they talking about the world title. The world title. Mark Henry and Booker T. Gabby. That was the converted WCW belt. Yeah, we know about the brand split and all that, but still. So what you think about the real first black king is probably Kofi. People say maybe it's The Rock, but I don't know. You should. May I say Kofi? Yeah, but most of the time it was the world heavyweight title. Then the other belt was called the what? The remade belt, the Universal thing. We're not talking about that. But yeah, you see how the folks was treated. See what happened to Kamala. Yeah, you'll never forget that. Ooh, that pissed folks. I remember interviewed Ahmed. Ahmed felt bad about that. Okay. Remember, Kamala said it herself. I did a reaction last year. Okay. Taker got he said something like this. I can't remember, something like Taker got 50,000. Kamala got 1,700. Or something like that. What the hell? That is something.